Hello there, biomed students. Like I told you guys last week, I'm not here in class today because I am at a HOSA conference. So I just wanted to send you guys some videos so you could make sure that you knew kind of what to expect and what to do. So first off, I just wanted to ask you guys to take a look at Planbook. So when you guys get logged into your computer, you would see here is the plan of attack for today. So several different standards addressed with 114 and 115. I'm asking you guys to do a little bit from each of those in class because there's some components that lab work is necessary. And then I'm going to ask you to kind of fill in the other empty pieces as you look at those assignments through Canvas, but what to use to be able to fill that stuff in is going to be Canvas and then some videos that you guys see that I have attached. So there's a few main components that we want to make sure that you guys are doing in class today. So if we scroll down, a few things that it states here. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was up to date with information as far as where your grade is at. So if you guys log into Skyward and take a look at Family Access or Student Access, whichever one you use, you should see that that is all up to date with our first 6 assignments. And so please just double check and make sure that number one, you have a score for everything that's there. And that also, just a reminder that when I'm asking you to submit assignments, you can see that most of the things for this class are through Canvas. And so what that means is you go to that actual link on Canvas for the assignment, and then you click on Submit, and then it will give you the options as far as choosing which document. And so one of the tabs on the windows there is for Google Docs, and so that's what you will use to be able to find where you saved your Google Slides, since that's what's most oftentimes we're using in here. And then you'll submit that exact assignment. If you don't submit it to me on Canvas, then number one, I can't grade it, so it's a 0 in the grade book. But if you do submit it like through email or somewhere else, it's just really hard for me to keep all that organized because I have so many students. When I get about 100 emails a day, it gets a little bit tricky to kind of track all that stuff accordingly. So Canvas has like file folders that it places all those things in, so it makes it a lot easier for me to grade. And then also the real benefit is I'm able to put comments, or I'm able to highlight and put little things like when you get something wrong. So look for those little messages because those are there to help you. And you'll see that I oftentimes say if you didn't do so well, for example, on that first interactive lab notebook, that you have the option to make corrections and resubmit it. I just ask that you have that done by the end of the day on Friday. And so take a look at it. If you didn't do so hot, then please keep that in mind and make those corrections so that you can get a better score. If I don't have a score for you, then please get that assignment turned in today before you leave class so that I can get you a score. It's kind of nice to have a score so that your grade is appropriate for what you've earned. So just wanted to make sure that all of that stuff makes sense. And as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to just send me an email and let me know. And maybe that happens today as you're working. If something's not making sense, it's going to be kind of tricky for the sub to help you, but I am just an email away. I should be able to check it while I'm at my meeting. So let me know if there's something that doesn't quite make sense, and I will do what I can to help with that. So what it says for today is you wanted to make sure that you're wearing proper lab attire. Like I said last block, that we're working with vampire blood, so we just didn't want to get it all over your stuff. So make sure that you have pants and closed-toed shoes. And then what you're going to do in class is complete pages 5, 6, and 8 of the interactive lab notebook. So those are the 3 main ones that you want to get done in class. If you have additional time, feel free to do more, but you'll want to have all of that completed and submitted by our next class period. Oh, and I see here that I have the wrong date. So please ignore, instead of 10-5, it should say 10-7. So sorry for my typo there. And then just another thing for you guys to be aware of, since this is a lab class and because we're trying to do all the labs that we can in the time that we're together, just pretty much plan on wearing appropriate lab attire every Wednesday you come to school, and then that way you'll be prepared to do whatever we need to in class. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about that's here on Canvas is just a note that this Thursday already, so that's tomorrow night, is the first parent-teacher conferences. And this is going to be done differently than we've ever done it before, but the parent-teacher conferences will be on Zoom. And so each teacher has their own Zoom link. These are all supposed to be posted on Planbook. So take a look there. Keep your parents posted. I'm also going to try to send a message to them. But from 4 to 5:30 and 6 to 7:30, we are going to be available. And it's probably similar to what you guys have experienced before. We'll take one family at a time. I'd love it if you guys wanted to participate as well. But what happens is if you log in and you get put in the waiting room, it's okay. You just might have to wait a little bit. We're asked to keep those conferences to no more than 5 minutes. So just be patient and we'll get you in as soon as we can. But if you or your parents have any questions, please feel free to come on in and ask so that I can address any of those concerns. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Whoop, whoop. All right. So now that we've taken a look at Planbook, as I said, also check out Skyward. Make sure that that matches up with your information. And then finally, if we take a look at Canvas and you go into our class, oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. You will see that, oh, it's just taking a minute. I got to give it a little bit of time here. If you go to our class and you scroll down with the modules and you click on this week, we're going to say that this is week 3. And so we're going to do 114 Cont and 115. That just means 114 continued. And like I said, up above here, you should have week 1 and week 2 submitted. If you have not done that, please make sure you're checking that off of your list today. So when we check on this, click on the 114 and the 115, it'll take us to the screen to be able to open up what we need. And so if you guys see, I have posted the links, and I try to set this up the same way every time, just so that it's consistent and you guys know what to expect. But when you click on these links, it will take you to the actual documents within MyPLTW. And if you opted to have it save your login, then it should go right there. If not, then you'll have to type in that information. But these are the 2 that we're taking a look at, and we're just starting the DNA. So make sure you're following along and just doing the information that's necessary with what's in the lab notebook. And so speaking of the lab notebook, if you take a look and click on this link here, so if you guys would go ahead and do that, and then remember what we have to do. So this is going to open up a document that's accessible to everybody. I need to get just your copy, so that means you need to make a copy. So we're going to click on File. My computer's just being a little pokey, sorry. We're going to click on File. There we go. And we're going to... We're going to go down to make a copy, and we're going to click on entire presentation. And then remember, if you would just type in your last name here, that would be wonderful. That way it'll get saved as yours. And remember, this should go in your Google Drive, in your PBS folder, so it is accessible to you at any time. So make sure that you understand how to get there. And if you're having problems accessing it outside of class once you save it, please don't hesitate to speak up. So then once you've done that, it will open up your version, which should be editable. So that means with this week, you guys should see, sorry guys, it is really being pokey today. Okay, you should see, hold that thought, but go ahead and insert your name here, so first and last name. And if you remember, like I said before, I would recommend that you continue to add these to the very original document, so you're kind of building off of everything, and that way you're not having to open up so many different documents to take a look at everything that we've done so far. So when you put them all together, it's just like the hard copy that you guys have, and it might be a little bit more accessible. So like I said, if you go ahead and type in your first and last name there, and then whoop, we get to go to page 2. And so when you take a look at page 2, you will see that this week I made the boxes, they're like a pinkish red. And so that's showing everything that you need to fill in. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in because it's kind of tricky to see. And so if we take a look, I also made some highlighted boxes on the side to help out. So please make sure you take a look at that information. So something that I put in here, the components of blood, if that was kind of tricky for you, when it asked you about the specifics with red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma, take a look at this video because it gives you some additional background information just to make sure that that all makes sense. And you guys were asked to fill in this box with presumptive testing, and then that's where you were asked to stop. So today we're going to fill in this confirmatory testing box and then everything else that's listed within this document. And so just know that to find this information on this first page, you will need to access the MyPLTW website, and I will show you. You're going to start right here where it mentions the terminology stuff. That's where you're going to start with the leucocrystal violet, the luminol, and the Kastle-Meyer. And so that's what you'll take a look at to fill in those boxes that were in this document. And then as you go, you'll be able to complete the confirmatory testing box as well. So it asks you more information about these things. And like I said, as you scroll down through MyPLTW, you should be able to get the information necessary to have what you need. Also keep in mind that it gives you a great little video describing how to properly remove gloves so that it is sanitary and you aren't getting infected with whatever is on your gloves. Very important skill to know in the healthcare field to help keep both you and your patients safe. Page 3 is another document that you guys are going to take a look at, and this is something as well as page 2 that you can do outside of class. So look through that MyPLTW website to be able to complete these boxes. Down here, I think this part's pretty fun, but you'll see I have these little tidbits of information that are movable. So you're going to move them into the appropriate spots in the chart, and that obviously is not the appropriate spot, but put everything where it goes. And there's a chart just like this in the activity, but also just to give you an idea of some more information about the different types of blood. There's this great video that was done by that same teacher that's taught this class for many, many years. And she does an analogy comparing the blood types to donuts. So it's kind of fun how she uses sprinkles to help make sense of this. If you're like, this chart doesn't really make sense, I wanted to include some other links for you to check out for more information. So just be aware that that's there and utilize it if you need it. Okay. Last component that I wanted to talk to you about for doing outside of class is page 4. And so page 4, you're going to continue on with the information about blood types and tell me what's the universal donor and why, and what's the universal recipient and why. And like I said, that should make sense once you take a look at that information with the lab. Then there's this fun component, and I wish we had the materials to do it in class. I'm so sorry we don't. But once again, that teacher has the materials, and so she's going to go through and use the micropipetter and show you how to do this blood typing. What I did is I made the appropriate number of boxes that are colored, and so you're going to move these up above whenever agglutination occurs. And what that means is it clumps, and she'll talk to you about what that means in the video, but you're just going to move these into the spots that clump, and that will help you determine whose blood was found at the crime scene. Really important information to know. And then finally, it'll talk to you about some more specifics for you to answer based on the data you've received. And then finally, it'll ask you to think about and look into a blood spatter analyst. So really talking about that career and what they do for their job, and have you thinking, is this something that I'd like to do? And so like I said, just to kind of give you a preview, that's the stuff you want to do outside of class.